number one, that was not a diplomatic mission. It was actually an IRGC command center or whatever. And I'm like, I just sent back to Mark Thiessen. I said, well, then you need to take that up with the Washington Post, your boss, because they said it was a diplomatic encounter, and everybody else. But just because they just say, no, this is not a microphone.
No,
it is definitely not. It's a washing machine. That's kind of how crazy it is. That's what we're dealing with.
It is. That's what we're dealing with. And it's really difficult for people to accept that, right? That we have people who are in power or their agents, like Mark Thiessen at the Washington Post, who, of course, Mark Thiessen, member of the Bush administration, right? I'm thinking of the right guy who famously advocated for, justified, and then protected torture. And he'll claim that torture is not torture. You know what I mean? Like, so it's that type of what you said, the doublespeak, the lying. Maybe gaslighting, but it's lying.
Shame on
and this is what we're up against. We are up against people who lie at the drop of a hat.
I can't believe that.
Their priority is not the truth.
Shocking.
Their priority is not the best interest of the American people. Their priority is advancing their own personal and institutional interests. And if that's aligned with Israel, then that's what they're going to do. So for justification, they are going to take as gospel, as the proven word, what the statements from the Israeli Foreign Ministry or the Israeli Defense Ministry are, as opposed to what their own employers say. You know what I mean? So like it is. This is really difficult for people to accept a lot of times, that what we're up against are well-established, well-known, continuous liars.
Wow.
And then the real danger of that is that these are just not the people who are talking about this. These are the people actually in power.
Wow.
Right. So when you have someone like a Matt Miller at the State Department or a John Kirby at National Security Council who lie so eagerly, so readily, so easily.
Isn't there a law against it? Well, let me tell you, them lying so easily is one thing. I could lie easily. But as I tried to actually put out Matt's point that Pentagon is harming United States, and he went thinking about potentially this and that, and I thought, man, this man, why doesn't he go straight and blunt, and he does, why doesn't he say so? And I then kind of said so in my ad on Google, and Google came up with a strike. This is an exaggerated claim. Wow. So some people are more equal than the others. Huh.
Okay. Do you really think that when they go back into their conference rooms and they actually make policy, that those lies aren't the things that are also propelling the policy? Right. So it's not like these people are saying one thing at the podium because that's what's best to say for right now. Otherwise, it's difficult, it's inconvenient, it's uncomfortable. But in the back rooms where we make policy, yeah, absolutely. No, we know that it was a diplomatic mission, and we're gonna stake.
They live in their own bubble.
We're gonna stake our response on the fact that Iran retaliated to attack on their diplomatic mission in Syria. No, I mean, absolutely not. It doesn't work that way. They get in those back rooms, and that type of conversation is going to exclude any justification that Iran had for attacking Israel. And this goes for all aspects of
it does. And now, obviously, it's the people in and out. It's like a revolving door, and they're constantly coming in and out of government. And one who has been in and out, and then in and then out again, and once back in next time is John Bolton. And you talk about somebody who is a war luster. I mean, I sometimes I say war firsters. This guy's a war luster, and he is so excited about what's going on right now. He is really hoping to help out Brother Biden, telling him what should happen next.
In today's world, the Gulf Arab states view the United States as weak and feckless. Iran now faces a potential Israeli strike in response to what happened last night. I think it's imperative that Israel strike decisively, not proportionately, disproportionately, to reestablish deterrence and to convince the terrorist proxies that Iran has set up in its Ring of Fire strategy that they're not intimidated.
Reestablish deterrence. Okay, the deterrence was already in place, and Israel undid.
Those words have no real meaning. He's just spelling it out to stay on the line to keep himself in a position. That's the whole point. Politicians.
that with the attack on the embassy, on the diplomatic compound, and now he wants to reestablish it by basically going to war with Iran. There's no way that Iran is going to allow that kind of strike to happen and not do anything. And subsequently, and we may have one more. No, we did. Yeah, actually, before I get there, Gary, run that second John Bolton.
The last number I heard was 300 plus drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles, and maybe three or four got through.
Yeah.
So who's the fool in this posture right now? Who looks weak? The regime in Iran looks weak. And a way to pin that down is for Israel to go after Iran's nuclear weapons program, which I think it can destroy or disable in very substantial part, if not totally.
Yeah.
He's been saying he's been wanting that nuclear facility for most of his career, and it would be funny if the consequences weren't so great. Instead, it's just pathetic.
Right, and it's angering that he never gets corrected, right? So Iran has had a civilian nuclear program for decades. They had a nuclear weapons program for a while, but for the last 20 years, they have not had a nuclear weapons program.
Subscribe